Hello, lads. Today I want to talk about the continuing boulderization of literature, specifically of a couple of famous series of the 20th century, namely Agatha Christie, who was an extremely prolific mystery author, and Ian Fleming, who, of course, wrote the James Bond novels upon which the later movies were based. Both of these novelists, well after their deaths, are now being revised. Their work is getting sanitized. Certain words and phrases that are deemed offensive are being removed, and this is all going on. This is a continuing process. There was the Roald Dahl controversy that broke out about a month ago with the plans to change the text of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, and that proved to that kicked up so much of an uproar that they eventually backed away. What they were going to do there is they were going to stop, like, they were going to stop calling kids fat, and just things like that. But here it's like, saying things about certain races, making remarks about a certain particular ethnicity. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you do. That Ian Fleming and Agatha Christie occasionally wrote in this manner, and they want to take those words and phrases out, and this is leaked, I guess, from somewhere within the companies that publish the works of these two now dead novelists. So they no longer own the rights. The rights have been sold. I don't know who specifically has the rights to the James Bond series, or to Agatha Christie's compendium of novels that gal wrote. I mean, she wrote a ton of books. But in any case, the publishers are doing this, and I wouldn't think they would be doing this if they didn't feel that they had the legal standing to do it. And what's interesting, though, is they're not making any kind of fanfare about it. In fact, if this hadn't come out as a leak, it wouldn't have gotten publicized at all. We would have just seen the next printing of all of these books. We would have seen them all sanitized for our protection, and with all these various things, various words and phrases and references removed. Now, I'm, of course, extremely opposed to this trend. It sickens me to have works of literature be chopped up like this to suit modern trends. It is very Orwellian. It is very newspeak. It's like let's just throw these words and phrases and things that we don't want to see anymore. Let's just throw them into the memory bin and have this new product now that pleases us. Pleases us, meaning the approved tastemakers of today, who it's always assumed that in the present we know better, right? Why is there always that arrogant assumption? Like somehow the tastemakers of 2023 are just infinitely superior to the tastemakers of 1923. Why? There's no reason just to presume that at all. It's nothing but what's called presentism, just this prejudice in favor of the present and of the trends of the present. But it seems to me that with books like those of Agatha Christie and Ian Fleming, these are what could be called middle-brow novels. These are not like the classics, like the hidebound classics. It would be one thing if they were going into Milton or Shakespeare or Conrad, Joseph Conrad. Joseph Conrad has a book called The Nigger of the Narcissus. And I'm telling you that because that's the title, and YouTube can suck it if they don't like it. That's the title of the book by Joseph Conrad. It's The Nigger of the Narcissus. And you can find it if you type it into a search engine. That's the title. So that's why I'm calling it The Nigger of the Narcissus, because The Nigger of the Narcissus is the title of that book by Joseph Conrad. Now, of course, the tastemakers of today would love to get their hands on Joseph Conrad and F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway and other writers considered, highbrow, considered literature, true literature, as opposed to Christie and Fleming, who, while in my assessment, excellent writers, they didn't write on the same level. They kind of put out a product, and so in that sense, it's like it's not quite seen as sacrosanct to mess with it, to rearrange the words or to take out certain words and put others in. Just to suit the sensibilities of the tastemakers of today. They would have hell on their hands if they tried to do something with The Merchant of Venice, Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice, or The Taming of the Shrew. People, there would be a great deal of backlash that would not stand. And it seems that for Roald Dahl, it seems that many believe that was a children's classic and that it shouldn't be tampered with. And in that case, I guess the changes that they made were just so dumb. Just like, oh, it's wrong to call children fat, or to call them stupid or something like that. I don't even think there was any racial stuff. But what I believe, with all of my heart, as an adherent of literature, as one who aspires to write literature, as someone who has taught literature, what I believe very strongly is that by reading we enter another world. That's the really grand thing about reading a book that was written in a different period of time, in a different period of history, even if it was a period of history that wasn't that long ago. There's a real sense of adventure to it. It's like you're seeing this world where people react to things differently, where people talk a little differently, where customs are a bit different, and whatever. And it's exciting to encounter these differences and to escape the homogenization of today. That's part of what I think explains the appeal of literature, of historical literature. Any kind of historical artistic artifacts. You are looking into a world that is different from your own. And, quite apart from any intellectual or sort of, stodgy kind of oh, well, here's here Shakespeare writes in iambic pentameter, here he writes in doggerel, and the reason for that is this, and blah, blah, blah. Beyond any kind of analytical stuff, there's just that gut level sense of, wow, I'm not among my own anymore. I'm visiting some place different, and it's fun, it's bracing, and it's part of what makes life worth living, I believe, because it gives you a chance to escape. Now, of course, the world as it is isn't always so bad and doesn't always, prompt one to want to escape. But there are times when one yearns to be, in a manner of speaking, far, far away in a galaxy, far, far, long, long ago in a galaxy far, far away. One wants to dwell in a place like that. To me, is the greatest crime that these censors, these boulderizers, these sanitizers, that's the worst thing that they're doing, is they're depriving the reader of this bracing sense of newness, of being able to have the adventure of seeing something that is unfamiliar, meeting something that is unfamiliar, seeing customs that are unfamiliar and that might even perhaps be off-putting. But that's a part of the joy of it. So I don't know what can be done in the case of Christie and Fleming. And I think their works, even if they aren't as important as many other writers who perhaps have more of a can more of a claim to high literature as opposed to being good writers who just put out a product to be consumed, which is what I think you could say about Christie and Fleming. Nevertheless, I am very strongly in favor of doing whatever one can to be able to retain these the integrity of the manner in which these books were written in the first place, the words that were chosen by the authors, the words that were chosen to make for the final manuscript that was put before the public. That is what was meant to be the work to be read by the public or by the reader generally. Again, as I said, even if it's even if it's written to be a bestseller, to just to turn up in on newsstands or in to be an airport book or whatever. There's something about that ability to transport the reader elsewhere that I think is the most crucial. I would dare say it's the most enjoyable aspect of reading literature, and I do hope that someone brings an end to this madness. But those are just my thoughts on the subject. Let me know what you think below. Thanks for watching.